Welcome everyone, Mate Talk time. Good to see you all. Well, actually can't see you, but good to be before you all. Here's the drink tally. Thank you to all those who did vote. The water tally is doing really well. Actually, coffee. What happened? Coffee? But mate is really coming along. Actually, a lot of people have been asking what kind of mate I drink. This is what I'm drinking today. Cruz de Malta. It's a really good mate. If you're new to drinking mate, I would start with this one here. It's very smooth. Flavor is great, but it's still pretty punchy. Still has that beautiful mate flavor. All right, let me move on. We had an awesome meetup. So we did this locally here in Melbourne with my good friend Kevin, Batman, of course, and we did a meetup at the Oligarch store. The idea was we invited everyone to bring some fragrances that they're loving, and it was this. We joked that it was the opposite of an AA meeting, in that hi, my name is, well, in my case, my name is Marcelo. I am an addict, and these are my fragrances. And then we'd go into, talking about all the perfumes that we were into. It was awesome. I mean, look at this video. So I did create, if you're not connected to me via Instagram, I would recommend you do. There's a lot of extra content that I push out through that I don't actually do through YouTube. Anyway, so we did the reel, and I couldn't stop watching it. The song was perfect. So anyway, awesome meetup, had a lot of fun. Thank you to everyone who did come along. It was a lot of fun. There was over 30 people. It's not a huge store. The energy in there was fantastic. Everyone had a chance to be in front of the counter and share their feelings on their different fragrances. I love that there was all this commentary. As someone would share, we would spray the perfume, and across the room someone would go, I can smell that already. And so it was good vibes. It was a lot of fun. So thank you to the Oligarch team. Thank you to Kevin. Really appreciate you opening up the shop to us and allowing this to happen. I have a Libertine meetup coming up, and start again. I'm planning to be in Perth on the Tuesday, the 8th of August, and then planning to be in Brisbane on that same week on Thursday, the 10th of August. The intention is that I will go to the Libertine store. So one will be in Perth, it'll be the Meyer store, so Libertine and Meyer. And the other one will be their, I think it's New Farm, I think that's where it's located, but they're dedicated Libertine store that's in Brisbane. The good people of Libertine have given me this box. And inside it, actually I'm not gonna open it, because otherwise, but it is full of samples. There's all these different samples, a million different fragrances. For those who are, or the Aussies know that Libertine, name a brand and they most likely have it. So there's a huge amount of samples. I have two, one for Perth, one for the Brisbane store. So anyone who meets me at wants to come and say hello, I will have this. I'll do a lucky draw, and you'll get a chance to win that as a thank you. So I want to thank the awesome people from Libertine. Thank you for giving me this and allowing me to also to be in the store and to be able to do this. The times will be, and I know it's a bad time. I totally agree. The reality is that I think Libertine closed at 5 anyway, so the My store 5:30. So it's going to be during lunch, and I thought that's probably the easiest if someone can get away. So I'll be there from 12, and I'll be there till about, say, 1:30, 2 o'clock, something like, depending. If there's a million people there, well, I'll hang around for longer, of course. All three of us will be like, look, even if there's 3 people, I don't care. Even if there's 1 person, I don't care. I'm going to go to check out some perfumes from the Libertine store. If you want to come along and say hello, and it's really just to say hello, tell me the fragrances that you love. I'm happy to share some of the things because, again, they've got a lot of fragrances, so I'd love to do that with you guys. All right, moving on. Actually, this leads me to talking about the US. So I did put forward that I will be in the US in September. I'm gonna shoot from the hip and say that it's been really hard to try to connect with Alan, all right? So I'm gonna say that he's a busy man, and he's looking at this going, who's this guy from the colonies, and wanting to use my store. No time for this. Recently he had Jeremy Fragrance in the store, so I get it. A little P versus the big lion. But if anybody does want to catch up, then let me know. Location-wise, I found out from a local, one of the local friends who has been to the US, has been to the store, and he says that it's like behind, you have to make an appointment to go into the boutique. So I was just planning to walk in, but that looks like it might not be the possibility. Anyway, bottom line is this: Saturday, the 9th of September, I have put aside to catch up with anybody in the US. I get the US is huge. It's, you know, if you're in the East Coast, you know, it's like a 5-hour flight to come across to LA. Would you do that for some random? Probably not. So yeah, if there's anybody in the LA region and you want to say hello, send me a message. All right. So at this moment in time, there is nothing planned to go to the store or anything of that nature. But I'm happy to do something. So the only day that I've got sort of put aside is Saturday, the 9th of September. Happy to catch up for lunch, but I think catch up for lunch sounds like it's a date. It'd be better to smell some perfume. That's what I'd love. Maybe like I think it's Neiman Marcus. Is that the? Apologies if I've said that wrong. I think like your fancy pants department store is Neiman Marcus, I think. Maybe we can meet there and we can just, anyway. Let me know, put in the comments, I will follow up. What will happen, last announcements. I'm trying to get announcements done quickly because I've got a lot of perfumes here that I want to talk about. But I need a drink, excuse me. How is everyone? I hope you're all well. I love your comments, by the way. I love all your comments, thank you. I worked really hard this past week to answer everybody's comments, and I believe I did. So if I missed out on anybody, I apologize. But I worked really hard to just, you know, respond to everyone. All right, I've been talking about doing a live session, and I'm doing two, one on, well, have a look here. One on Saturday, one on Monday, which will be respective times for you guys around the world. So here are the times, what it is locally here in Australia, if anybody in this region wants to join, and also what it will be in either the US or the Europe sort of area. The purpose behind this is in line with what I've been talking about, and that is, let's just talk about perfumes together. Tell me what you're loving. I love this comment from Carrie. Carrie's a local lady. Thank you so much for your comments, and because I've been thinking, what do we call this thing, you know? And so she suggested recent releases. Nice play on word, I like it. So it could be that. I also love the thought of recent discoveries, recent loves, but I wouldn't get into anything romantic, just perfume. So anyway, there it is. It's my first, so we'll see how it all goes. I'm gonna see if this is something that everyone might be interested in doing. So if you are a member, what I have been saying is that rather than just watching me talking, I would like to defer the stage to anybody who wants to be, you know, who wants to share about something that they're enjoying. Similar to what we did at Oligarch, which was everyone stood in front of that counter and they talked about the perfumes that they're loving. So I would like to do the same. I will only open it up to members. So if you are a member, send me a DM and you would like to talk about something that you're loving. Send me a DM with your email address. I will send you a link. I need to explore this a little bit more, but basically send you a link and that'll allow you to get in backstage sort of thing, and then I'll push you forward when it comes time to talk about the fragrances that you would like to do. If you're not a member, it's easy. All you got to do is join. Here is the process here. The other part to this is that next week I will be doing let me send you something. So recently I had an awesome man actually sent me a message, Tony, and Tony mentioned that he received the parcel with all the samples and he's loving. So if you become a member next week, I will do a raffle and I'll send you something special. Boom. Now we're going to move on to perfumes. 9 minutes, goodness me, 9 minutes before I spray perfume. It wasn't too bad. I've done it before where I think it was like that one time, was it Aaron? It was another man. And he basically said, you know, 17 minutes before you even brought up the perfume. I went with my heart last week, and even though it was a gamble, it seemed like it paid off because the whole sort of premise of a character from Harrison Ford movies, what would he be wearing in those movies, it resonated. There was a lot of positive responses, a lot of great comments about it, liked the idea, and I had this comment from Vivian. Thank you, Vivian. And I loved it. instantly, I remember I woke up that morning and kind of drowsy, because I'm always like, I wonder if Mate Talk is doing well, or if, you know, any particular video that is it tracking like I'm hoping it might. And I was a bit nervous about the Harrison Ford thing. I think if you saw it all the way to the end, you see me lose my cool, basically. My inner chatter was going crazy, going, no one's gonna watch this. This is the dumbest idea ever. I can't believe you did this. Why didn't you do the summer lineup like you said you were going to? And I'm like, shut up, let me focus on what I'm doing. Anyway, Vivian wrote this, and she said, wouldn't it be cool to have Femme Fatale? So female characters who have a bit of a dangerous edge about them. And I loved it. This like pinged for me. I am surrounded, I'm fortunate to be surrounded by very strong women. I have, so from my mother all the way through my wife, my daughter, my sister, all these women, they're awesome women. So, and this is the thing too, that they're not, I always compare relationship, because I want to be very careful how I walk through this, yin and yang. And I love the symbol of yin and yang, and that is that it's a perfect circle, and both have equal parts in it. And I love the concept of that. And actually, one even further, that both have their opposite colors as an eye in each of them. So, and I think for me, this is my opinion, okay, that I like that in a relationship, that there's a yin and yang. So the male and the female, and they both come together and they create this perfect circle. Both have equal say. No one's more dominant than the other, blah, blah, blah. Both have, you know, it's this perfect circle essentially. So I like when so I'm surrounded by that. I guess that's the point I'm trying to say. The women in my life, they're strong, confident women, and they say they speak their minds, and I love it. I love it. I love that, you know, the dynamics that exists there. So when I see this on screen, when I see this kind of, you know, this type of female, this type of woman, man, I love them. I love, you know, I love their confidence. So today's setup is going to be films that I love. So films, so if I could put these on a pedestal, so to say, which one's first, second, they're all on number one. So all, I think it's 8 or 9 movies that I've got here. These are all my just number one picks. And if you haven't seen them, you need to write these down. You need to see this. Some of them I'm going to try my best not to give you any spoilers, but you need to see these films. These are just like knock out of the park sort of films, and the characters, whether they're male or the female, but in this case it's the women that I really love. They're just like superb. So let me just get my notes out of the way. And okay, last thing I wanted to say on that is I'm going to present some fragrances. So now if you're a man and you're going, he's going to talk about all, you know, female perfumes, not the case. And if you're a woman and you see a fragrance and you're like, oh, I thought that was a man's perfume, not the case. So perfume, or smell, it doesn't have a gender. I mean, if you like, and I always love Luca Maffei. When I met with him, he compared it to pasta. And he says that sometimes he gets asked, which is a female, you know, fragrance note and what's a male fragrance note, and he compares it to pasta, and he says, so which kind of pasta is more masculine and more feminine? Is the bow tie a masculine pasta, whereas the shells is more a female pasta? And he's like, it's pasta. You know, if you like it and you like that shape, and eat it. So same here, perfume is perfume. There are some fragrances here that I'm going to put forward that are more accented in possibly female. I just threw all that out the window. In more floral notes, that's what I'm trying to say. So there are, you know, the florals have really been heightened, and on a woman's skin, I don't know, there is a femininity to it. So yes, there is that component, and maybe that just threw my previous comments out the window. Let me ponder that. Or it could be that I associate some of this to my wife, who is very much a white floral kind of woman. She likes her white flowers. Bottom line is, this fragrance is for everybody here. If you like the smell, it's for you. All right, let me begin. 14 minutes and we commence. As a teenage boy, I came across this movie, and I fell in love with Kathleen Turner. Oh my gosh, Kathleen Turner. So, and I debated whether to say this, but I'm gonna share it. So things happen to teenage boys nocturnal activities, involuntary. You're sleeping, bada bing. Kathleen Turner was always part of the setup. So I saw this movie and my goodness gracious, she just burned my brain with this incredible, just feminine sexuality, this power that she had. From first time that you see her, all right? And I'm gonna, if you haven't seen this movie, or any of some of these movies, there, spoiler alert is happening right now. So I'm gonna try my best not to give away too many things, but the moment you see her character, you just know she just oozes with a certain level of this is the ultimate, in my opinion, of the femme fatale. She is just incredible. Now, I'm not gonna go, as I said, I don't wanna disclose too much because if you haven't seen this movie, you need to see this movie. This is one of the best films out there. It was done in 1980, hasn't aged. I saw it recently, and for me, this still has the same level of like, it just draws you in. And the characters, William Hurt is the man. He's brilliant in that role. But Kathleen Turner, she just steals the show. She's just so amazing. Anyway, there's one scene, and I always loved it. I remember watching it when I saw it as a kid. It just stayed in my brain. And this is what she looks like. So she's inside the house, William Hurt, so basically, just a small premise. I met at a bar, chit chat. The other thing too is that Lawrence Kasdan is the script writer, greatest script writer ever. I mean, he wrote Raiders of the Lost Ark. He also wrote The Empire Strikes Back, which is probably, in my opinion, the best Star Wars film. Anyway, so he wrote and directed this film. So the dialogue is witty and clever and just incredibly written. Anyway, so they're met at a bar, and she says, talking about her wind chimes, would you like to come back to my house to look at my wind chimes? And so, yeah, but the direction, so he does. He comes to look at the wind chimes, but man, baby, we're not talking about wind chimes here. Anyway, so he says, she says, well, you got to go now. And so he leaves. But there's this sexual moment, you can just almost like it's warm. I mean, even the walls are pushing backwards. She's inside and she's got this look for him. Look at her nostrils. Look at the way she's got her head cocked backwards, like, you want this? Her lips are parted. I mean, it's just like a sexy scene. Anyway, he's in a frenzy. He is in a frenzy, and he smashes the window and goes in, and the rest is history, as they would say. What is she wearing that's creating this intoxication, this like animal, craziness? NARCOTIC V. This perfume. I'm telling you. So I think, and like in that scene, I'm going to say a woman wearing this, a man is powerless to the point of what do you need? Zombie like, what do you need? And I've talked about it on and on and on. I carry on about how glorious NARCOTIC Venus is. But this, to me, I mean, she is wearing, her character's name is Maddie, and she is wearing this, and she is creating havoc. So this is an incredibly sexy tuberose style fragrance, animalic components to it. I think every woman should wear this. This is definitely a very female leaning fragrance. I know, actually, the reason why I was hesitating, because I have read some comments that some men like to wear it. Cool. For me, this is like, you know what it is? Sandra wears this. And I have to be honest with you, when Sandra wears this, I have impure thoughts. I can't help myself. I'm conflicted when she wears it to church sometimes, because I'm like, what am I doing? I've got two angels, one here going, hey, go. Better stop. But anyway, awesome fragrance. You need to have it. I was getting super excited, as you can tell. I could smell it in the air. It's glorious. Anyway. I will stop. I'm going to slow down. Okay. The next one. The next one is, this is an Aussie film that even Aussies, I'm going to say, are not familiar with. It's called Animal Kingdom. Just look at this poster. Have a look at this poster. The poster alone is a work of art. It reminds me of a Caravaggio, so that the shadows, the different things that are happening with each of these characters. And it also reminds me of The Last Supper, in which, again, all the characters are doing something with that central figure being the young man. And if you notice, he has a gun in his hand. So there is a TV show which was made in the US and by the same name and same premise. I started to watch because I got excited. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool, they've done this. I watched maybe 10 minutes and I had to turn it off. So it does not, in my opinion, look, admittedly, I didn't give it a chance, but it does not compare, in my opinion, to the movie. This is where it derives from. This movie is an incredible psychological criminal story about a criminal family, essentially. I'm not going to tell you much because you have to see this film. You have to see. However, the central character, female, which is Jackie Weaver, she's an awesome Aussie actress, has been in the game for many years. This was her breakout role. Hollywood started to, in as a much older lady, but Hollywood really picked up on her acting, her incredible screen presence, and she's wearing, and like I said, I'm not giving you any spoiler alert, so you're like, I don't understand what, she the head of this criminal family, or is she just, what is she? She looks like a grandmother, the way she's touching the boy's arm. That, by the way, that boy is her grandson. Anyway, but she's wearing CLIVE CHRISTIAN E. When you see the movie, and if you know this fragrance, it'll make perfect sense. This is the most, if you love gourmand, this, in my opinion, is one of the greatest gourmands that is out there. It has this wonderful, and I love that it has this beautiful balance between being sweet gourmand-like, but it has a clove note, and clove can sometimes be very medicinal, very, like you feel like you're going to the dentist or something like that. So it does have like this little weird sort of tinge to it. In here, the way it's crafted in here, this is amazing. I did a Baby What's Your Name with my sister Carolina, and this was her, she had a blindfold on for those who haven't seen that episode, and this was her choice. This is the one that she's like, what is that? This is intoxicating, this is so alluring, this is wonderful as a winter. I'm gonna say it would be, I know that Northern Hemisphere is going through summer, bloody blah. Maybe as a going out fragrance. For me, this is just a winter, this is winter divine. So CLIVE CHRISTIAN E, Jackie Weaver's character, and her name in the show is called, her nickname is Smurf, because she's little. She's wearing that. And when you see the movie, you'll understand. Because, yeah, anyway, yep, I'll stop there because I want you to watch that movie and I don't want to do any spoilers. All right, 23 minutes, let's keep going, okay. As a young man, I fell in love also with Sigourney Weaver in Alien and then Aliens. So the two Alien films. After that, I have to just say, I lost, anyway, it just didn't go in the direction that I thought it was going to. The first two, totally awesome, just so, and Ripley, Sigourney Weaver's character is just, I love that she is, and this is the key of, I think, in my opinion, the key of, is that she doesn't want to, she's a very strong female lead, but she doesn't want to be the leader. She's happy to step back, but recognizing that there's all these mistakes being made, all that it's going in the direction that's going to cause havoc, and it forces her to step forward and actually for the better of everybody, not because she wants to be the boss and be in charge. And I think that's what makes Ripley so incredible as this female lead, is that she is, yeah, she's just a strong, confident, and she matches, and I love that she matches the men in these movies, strength for strength, intelligence for intelligence, and it's never in question that she's a woman. I mean, it's just, she's just another player in this team that will essentially try to help survive the group, but she's a woman, and I love that. There's no reference. I mean, sometimes you get movies where they really want to make a point to say, I am a woman, and as a result of me being a woman, I am so, and it's like, okay, we get it, you're strong, you're a woman, we like that, Anyway, Ripley, she is totally awesome. She's so incredible as an actress, but she misses home. She's been in deep space for I don't know how many years, and she just wants to go back to Earth. So what is she wearing? She's wearing COZE VERDE. Now, what I love about this is a new fragrance that I've discovered. So this has, I think, the balance of Ripley's character in that she wants to get out of there. I mean, she doesn't want to be out in space with, you know, being chased by this alien, blah, blah, blah. And there is the opening of this beautiful green note mixed in with this beautiful fruity fig. And it's so alluring and so, it just brings you in as a fragrance. So fruity fig, green note, just divine. But then on the dry down, it does go to a woody tobacco place. It has this woody strength about it. It does have a slight, not dustiness, but there's another edge to it. And I think this is like Ripley's character in that she has I guess the softness, or she's not soft because there's no florals in there, you know. So it does have this green, you know, alluring scent vibe to it. It's slightly fruity, but there's that woody strength to the fragrance. If you haven't experienced the Pierre Guillaume's, I mean, lately I've just been obsessed with this brand. And this one here, the COZE Verde, is on point. All right, let me move on. Can I just point out that I was so heartbroken on the third one when they killed the kid, Newt. You know, they started the movie and the glass was broken. I'm like, oh my gosh, who thought of that? I mean, anyway, that was, yeah. Like I said, Aliens, both are just fantastic films, a lot of fun to watch. Next one. So, as a younger man, I loved Uma Thurman. I thought Uma Thurman was just such a, I don't know. I loved that she was very feminine, but you just sensed there's more going on. There's a strength there, but she just plays these characters that she played. I don't know. Uma Thurman, and plus she's a beautiful woman, so it was just like. Anyway, the reason why I'm sort of like, do I say, not say? So Sandra, my wife, knew that I liked Uma Thurman in films, and we used to have problems with our water tank. This is before we got it moved out, but long story here. And in the house, so I'd go up into the roof to fix something up. Anyway, one day, one of my kids said, "Why is Dad always going up into the roof?" And Sandra responded with, "He's visiting Uma." So she named the water tank Uma and said that I was always running up. Anyway, Sandra, I guarantee Sandra's like, I never said that, but I promise she did. So Uma Thurman, all right. So in the movie Kill Bill, I mean, how cool is she in this giddy up, you know, with that, and the way she's standing there like, I'm gonna destroy you with this sword. So she's an assassin, for those who've seen the film. I'm pretty safe to say anything about this movie, everybody would have seen it by now. So she's an assassin who is on a revenge trail, basically. Now, when she was an assassin, no perfume, because she's an assassin. She has to, you know, fly way under the radar. If she has a perfume, she's going to be detected, or something's going to be unfamiliar in the air. It's only when she's on the revenge trail that she's now beginning to wear a perfume. And the reason that she's wearing this perfume is to remind her of her master, Pai Mei, and the training that he provided her. And so she's wearing none other than Sogni by MEO FUSCIUNI. And why is she wearing Sogni? Have a look at this image. This reminds her of her time with Pai Mei. So this is one of those fragrances that works comfortably on a man. It works fantastic on a woman. There is this beautiful opening of the rice. So this is so just to give you a bigger picture, this is MEO FUSCIUNI's love song tribute to his time in Japan. But a lot of the elements that are in here are definitely also, you know, the reason why the bride is wearing this is also relative to, I guess, more of an Asian culture. It has beautiful rice note at the stuff. It has a nuttiness to that rice. It does have the bamboo notes. It also has this wonderful straw-like or hay-like tatami note. And then think of the tatami. I love that my camera just like, nah, we're done. I hadn't even hit 28 minutes, well, I don't think I did, but anyway. So the notes in here has this, and funny because you would think, being that it has these sort of Asian style notes, that it would be, I guess, have like an Asian feel. I don't think it does. It dries down to this wonderful wood, creamy, nutty sort of, that rice I think still plays because it's not a classic sandalwood fragrance when it dries down. It does have woody elements to it, and I think all those earlier notes are definitely moving all the way through to that base. Incredible longevity. This fragrance is phenomenal and all year round. So winter, summer, evening, whatever. I was wearing it yesterday, the day before. We were on a shoot. There was a lot of movement going on. We had to move gear and all the rest of it. And at one stage, one of my crew members, she goes, "Whoa, I just smell your perfume." And we were probably a meter and a half away, but I did walk past her because I went to get something. But she like, "Whoa, I just smell." It's glorious. This is just an incredible fragrance. And all day long, I'm detecting this beautiful woody rice component to it. It's almost it is a little bit meditative in the sense that it's not like some woody fragrances. Let's take Duro for instance, that it has like these patchouli and all these other components to it. It does sort of the woods tend to come forward a lot more, whereas there is a woody creaminess to this. There's something softer and more. Anyway, Sogni. I discovered this when I was recently in Milan. I did meet with MEO FUSCIUNI, and we talked about this, and it was, yeah, it's a joy. Anyway, so a fragrance that I would strongly recommend, and something that the bride is definitely wearing as she's on her revenge trail because she wants to remember all the training that her master gave her, and the what was the five? No, it was the 5 palm. Was it 5 palm heart? Something I can't remember. And he's out. All right, let me move on. Okay, next one is this. Man, if any movie made me want to speak French, was Amélie. I just wanted to the language, the flow, for me to just, you know, I was gonna pretend like I was saying, I'm not gonna say any words apart from bonjour. I wanted it to flow. I mean, I just fell in love with this film. I fell in love with Amélie as a character. I fell in love with the whimsical nature of this film. I fell in love with how her and her shyness. There's one moment when she does this, I think she's confronted, and she does this little, she does this little sound, her face, it was just, actually I can't believe I forgot the actress's name. Audrey TAUTOU. Anyway, Audrey was awesome in this film. I just thought she was the greatest thing ever. What I love, the interesting thing about this movie is that there's such high contrast, because here's this beautiful colors and it's whimsical and it's this sort of almost magical Paris with Montmartre and Sacré-Cœur in the distance and all that. And yet Nino, the guy that she falls in love with, works in a sex shop. The funniest thing with this, I remember watching this with so I went to see it and I fell in love, and finally came out on DVD, and I said to my daughter, we should watch this film together. She would have been in her late teens. Anyway, all of a sudden, we're in the sex shop, and I'm like, I can't remember this in the movie. And I remember my daughter Maddie, she was like, what are we watching here? And I'm like, it's meant to be a cute film, but yeah, it's funny how there's these contrasts in the movie. And yet it's still, in my memory, it still remains as a whimsical, sort of fairy tale-like story and film, you know, with colors. And anyway, great film. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it. What is she wearing? Well, there is one scene when she's holding a perfume bottle. So being French, of course, she loves perfume and perfumery, and is well astute as to all things perfumery. This bottle here, if I'm not mistaken, is Eau de la Passion. I did write it down, I was trying to remember it. Eau Fleur de la Passion by Rancé, which was it's an old brand in French, or it's an old French brand. They would create, or had created, perfumes for Napoleon, the very first one, and Josephine. I did some research. That particular fragrance, I think it's been discontinued, but anyway, that particular fragrance had white florals with some orange blossom, jasmine, things of that nature. And I'm so glad, because I already had picked the fragrance that Amélie should be wearing, and it's none other than La Chasse aux Papillons, one of my most favorite fragrances. This is without even realizing, this is years and years ago. Sandra and I were in Paris. I actually sprayed it. Sandra and I were in Paris and we came across L'Artisan Perfumery, and she fell in love with this particular, this is still the bottle, you can still see this stuff down here. I need to buy her a new bottle. I feel, when I see this, I feel bad for me. I'm like, why am I not buying my wife a new bottle of this? Anyway, it's this beautiful white floral. It has almost like a solar orange blossom. There's a warmth to it. It does have some animalics, which is interesting, but it's a floral animalic. Anyway, so it has this beautiful balance between being sort of light and floral and this white, these white flowers coming through tuberose. But then there's this, on the other side, there's more of a, I don't know, it has not a strength, but it has a different element to it. There's this beautiful balance between the two. So it's not just white flowers, popping out everywhere. Amazing fragrance. Recently I did it I showcased it in the Perfume Boutique video that I did. And yes, so when I promise, hand on my heart, when I go back to Paris, when we do the tour in September, I am buying La Chasse aux Papillons, a brand new bottle for my wife, because she deserves it. Well, I want to buy it because I love her. Yeah, there you go. All right, let me move on. I love this film. I love Emily Blunt's character. So it's Rita Vertasky, that's how they say it, and she's what do they call her? The full metal bitch, full metal jacket bitch. I don't know. I just know that Full Metal was in there, and bitch was in there. It's in. I'll put it up here. Anyway, she is just incredible. I mean, and again, this is similar to Sigourney Weaver's character, where she is female but yet very, doesn't the narrative of the story doesn't go on. I'm a woman. Did you know that I'm a woman and I'm really strong? She's a woman, but she is really strong. And interestingly too, she matches Tom Cruise, who's a very strong leading man. If you watch him in other films, he has a very strong presence, even against, no matter who he's acting against, it's Tom Cruise. She matches Tom, almost blow for blow. And at the start of the movie, if you haven't seen it, Tom's character is kind of wussy. He's a marketing guy. Not that marketing guys are, I'm a kind of a marketing guy. Do I do that? No, I'm trade marketing. It's different. That's what I do professionally for my work. But I'm not wussy either. But put me in an alien invasion, I'll be in trouble. So he comes off a little bit, he's more of he's more of a PR guy. He wants to be, in front of the camera. He's happy to talk about it, but doesn't want to be anywhere near battle. And eventually, he levels up and becomes, the Tom Cruise that we're all familiar with, where he's running and super strong and does all sorts of things. And Emily Blunt's character matches him stroke for stroke. She is brilliant. She stays at that level of strength all the way through the film. She's brilliant. What is she wearing? She's wearing Brutus. Now, here's a fragrance that you would think, especially with the name and also ORTO PARISI, you think that it would be masculine and strong and all the rest of it, and you'd be right. It does have those sort of very stronger edges to them. But I can see Rita Vertasky wearing this. This is like a fragrance that a woman would wear who is just, I guess, let's take Rita's character, and this is why I picked it for her. She's a woman in, I guess, in a man's area, meaning that, she's up for battle, she's fighting, she is leading troops into battle, all that sort of stuff, which traditionally you think to yourself, that's, normally a bloke is doing that sort of stuff. Well, Brutus is that fragrance where there is this sweetness in the opening. There's this, I don't know, it's like a boozy-like lightness to it, but there's this incredible patchouli note that runs through it. It's not overtly musty, which sometimes patchouli can get very much into that musty. It stays woody, but there is also oud. And what I love about this too, like, this is why Rita's wearing it, is the moment you start to sweat, this thing re-emerges, and all those earlier notes re-emerge with it. So not just the bass note of the woods and the, you know, the oud-like quality, those early notes of that sweetness, it re-emerges again. So this is a beautiful balance between being a fragrance which is inviting, alluring, because most Orto Parisis have a power, you know, they sort of pack a punch. Whereas this one here does this beautiful balance also between being slightly on the alluring sweet side, but it also has the strength of the woods and those other components to it. So Rita, she's wearing that. How am I going, everyone? Are you guys going, oh, shut up already? Two more, and then I'm done. Two more characters. Here's another one, you gotta see this. And I'm not gonna share too much because I don't know, I'm gonna say this one's a little bit more well-known, and being that it's got George Clooney in it. But I love, and I forgot the actress's name, Vera, I'm pretty certain is her first name, and I'll put it here. So her character is Alex, and I love the fact that a name like Alex is also a name that you would give a man. And this movie is almost, it's kind of bittersweet in the sense that you think all the way, as you're watching, you think that there's going to be like a happy resolution or some kind of happy ending, and it sideswipes you just so beautifully. I also love the sort of reversal of roles in I guess a cliche Hollywood sense, where the man behaves in a certain way, the woman behaves in a certain way, whereas here they're flipped. And for those who haven't seen it, so I'm not going to give any spoiler alerts, when George finds out certain news, George Clooney's character, he actually behaves like a traditional female character would in these kind of movies. And she behaves like the man would, you know. So I really liked, like I said, I liked her sexuality. I liked the way that she was so confident in this movie, but she also knew that she was a woman, and she was wonderfully strong, super confident, just full of sass. Yeah, anyway, she's fantastic in this film. What is she wearing? She's wearing French Flower. Now Sandra, so just to give you a heads up, Sandra approved all these fragrances. So I said, this is what this character's wearing, and she's like, yep, I like that. She even matched me in the sense, so she goes, oh, that character should be wearing that, which is what I had written. So I'm glad that we were sort of pairing ourselves. This is the only one that she challenged me on, because she doesn't like Alex. She thinks Alex is not a nice person. And so she's like, and she loves this fragrance. This is Matiere Première, and it's French Flower, and Sandra is in love with this fragrance. So she feels that Alex from Up in the Air doesn't deserve it. She's not a nice person, she doesn't deserve it, but I think she's definitely wearing this. This fragrance here has equal parts feminine overtness. It's a tuberose fragrance, similar to NARCOTIC V it's like the sex element in this has been amped up to like 700 out of 50, and so this is like a tuberose, which is just like, hence why William Hurt is breaking down walls to get inside. Whereas the tuberose in French Flower does have that beautiful tuberose white floral component to it, but then there's other facets associated to it, which is the greenness. There's also like there is a slight animalic sass going on. There's a note in there that's like, it's sort of like something else is happening. It's more than just florals. Beautiful fragrance. This, and I'll go one more. Spray carefully. This will go through walls. This is like the sillage, the projection, everything about this, the longevity. This fragrance goes on and on and on, and it just permeates everywhere. When Sandra's wearing it, I'm telling you, I can smell it like, well, I was gonna exaggerate, 3 blocks away. But I can, when I walk into the house and I can smell this everywhere, you know? So French Flowers, for those who are not familiar with this brand, actually, and I'll go one more. So Aurélien Guichard, the perfumer, he actually cultivates, and I'm not mistaken, these two are organic tuberose, which he cultivates on his farm. So we know about Radical Rose and what he does there, but he's done the same with French Flower and the tuberose note. Boom, moving on. All right, last one, everybody. Last one, last drink. Okay. Hopefully this has been okay. I'll find out. I did have this one here, Mean Girls. I love Regina. I think Regina is the greatest. What's she wearing? Madison Avenue. It's got that fruity, sweet note, floral, rose in the heart with jasmine. It makes you feel like, oh, well, she's nice, but she's not nice. And that's her secret weapon. She puts you at ease before she puts a knife into your back. But I'm going to move on. I won't talk much more about it. If you haven't seen Mean Girls, you got to watch it. Regina, I love that. And Rachel Adams, she's the best in that film. Okay, last one. Is this my favorite? So where Kathleen Turner was just this incredibly sexy woman who's just like, you know, I mean, makes William Hurt, the character, go loco in la cabeza, as they would say. Loco en la cabeza, I can say that. Just yeah, just so she's wearing, she's wearing NARCOTIC V. There is Jennifer Lopez, and the movie is Out of Sight. And she makes George Clooney go loco en la cabeza with there's this incredible, I mean, I love, so the character's name is Karen Sisco, and I love Karen Sisco. I love her character. I love her sass. I love her strength. I love her feminine power. I love her, she's clever. Whereas like Kathleen Turner, Maddie, her character, she is evil and conniving and troublemaker. Karen Sisco is, both women are strong, but you know, Karen is for good and Maddie is for bad, or for evil, evil design. So what is she wearing? Now, she's a Latino woman, all right? And if I compare her to my mother, who was, mom passed away, but if my mother was still with us, let me just say, so I've got a library system, and in that library system I allow, you know, friends, family, and things like that to borrow my perfumes like a library. Take them out and return them, and then you can swap it around. Now, if my mother was still with us, still alive, I would be asking her for my fragrances. These would all exist in her house, you know. I would be put on the library system, even though they're all my perfumes. So Mum had a lot of perfumes. She was very much into perfume. She loved all things. She loved all these different fragrances. Like I said, if she was alive, she would be so in love. She'd be cheering me on. She'd be like, go, son, go, get me more perfumes. So I'm going to say that that Jennifer Lopez character, Karen Sisco, is a Latino woman, so she's got more than one. So I'm going to show you these different scenes. So when she gets, for those who've seen the movie Out of Sight, this is the classic opening scene to this movie where she meets George Clooney's character. And I love the fact that George doesn't see her because he abducts her basically in the dark, so he can't see anything, puts her in the trunk, they close the, and he's in you know, so she's in front, and so he doesn't see her properly. But what he is detecting is her incredible fragrance, and she's wearing Fragrance du Bois Milano. Now, I love this fragrance for the fact that it has this beautiful balance between these fruity, very alluring notes with a slight leather accord. And it constantly does this seesawing in that you detect fruits, but then you're detecting leather from the opening all the way through the dry down. So I've been wearing it today. So this is comfortably a man or a woman. And it's all in there. So the fruits, and it's not discernible like, let's say, Erba Pura, where you're getting all these, you know, you almost feel like you're detecting a mango or a pineapple, whereas here you're getting a sweet, fruity note that's coming through, but mixed in with that slight leathery animalic scent. Anyway, that's what she's wearing. Plus, I feel that this fragrance performs better in heat. So Karen, or where all this is taking place, is in Miami. It's overnight, and so this fragrance is popping on her. Then, during the day, because she has to have her day fragrance, she's wearing Paris Monte Carlo Neroli Mediterrano. And why? Because the fruits, the florals at the start, mixed in with that slight orange blossom Neroli scent, the woods in the base, lasting all day long. This fragrance here is phenomenal in heat. In summer, it just like, it just pops everywhere. Then she goes off to Boston. It's cold, and I gotta get a drink, excuse me. She goes off to Boston because it's cold. So she now needs something because she's got layers on, because she's wearing you know, jacket, scarf, bing, bang, boom. So she's wearing Ylang Ylang Nosy Bee Extrait from, again, Paris Monte Carlo. She fell in love with the Paris Monte Carlo brand. I love this fragrance this is another one where spray carefully, you know, 2 to 3 sprays. This will just project through walls. I love the fact that it has this warmth, yellow flower. So there's none of that indolic lightness that comes from a white floral fragrance. It's creamy, it's warm, cacao almost. There's a chocolatey vibe to it. It just screams femininity. I do have the EDP version of Ylang Ylang Nosy Bee. I can wear it. I feel like the sort of the caramel, not the caramel, the chocolatey notes, the woody notes. The florals are in there, but I feel it feels comfortable on me. I cannot wear this. This is like a overdrive on it just radiates femininity, and it's equivalent. So Duro for men, I feel like it's a very masculine leaning fragrance, strong woods, very confident. This is its companion from a female sense. Ylang Ylang Nosy Bee Extrait. It's just, and then she's in the hotel. Doesn't want to be bothered, and yet 2 other guys have tried to sit and, you know, say nice things and, you know, buy her a drink, and she's like, get out of here, just want to drink alone. And then George arrives. What is she wearing that's creating this much attraction? She's wearing Tobacco Rose. This is, my goodness. Sandra wears this, and I can also smell it 3 blocks away. She actually wore it this Sunday, and she was getting compliments from everybody. I mean, we were walking down the street. We did go to church, and she was getting compliments from everybody. This thing here is the most alluring. I mean, it works on me. So just so you know, I can wear this fragrance. I enjoy wearing it as my winter fragrance. But I think on a woman, and definitely on Sandra's skin, I don't have impure thoughts. So it's just a beautiful fragrance that I love smelling. It's the rose and the tobacco. I love smelling this on Sandra, whereas this is deadly. Duke, we're done. Bada bing, my gosh. I think that was 40 minutes again. I had this comment from Sem. Thank you, Sem. When I first started doing mate talks, I thought to myself, I don't know, what's the most I can talk about? 5 minutes. And now I'm trying to wrap it up in 40. Well, that was what he mentioned anyway. I hope that was okay, everyone. Please tell me otherwise. Yeah, please tell me otherwise. If this is like, I don't want to, yeah. Thanks, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that. See you all in the next episode.